Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Big Joel Show. So today, I'm kind of excited because I have someone in the studio with me, which is always more fun than doing the whole big satellite thing. I have someone I actually know, went to college with a long time ago. Haven't seen her in forever, except for social media and looking at social media and maybe a text here and there. But, you know, normally those of you that are watching this show, you know that I'm a mortgage and real estate person. And I teach, those of you that know me know that I teach relationship selling. And those of you that really know me, that follow me on social media, know that I have an incredible relationship with food. And you know that I love eating food all the time. So, you know, one of the things that I teach is I teach people to do B2Bs, which I call belly to bellies, and that's breakfast, lunch, dinner, or drinks. Coffee doesn't count, and coffee's not for closers, and which means a lot of the people I work with, and a lot of people in our industry, mortgage and real estate, are doing a lot of social things. We're eating a lot. And, you know, I think every year we learn more and more and more about nutrition, about, I'm just going to call it working out. That's probably not the right word. And so this person to my left, I just asked her, do you really want me to read this? Because she has like 19,000 letters after her name.
I think it's 17, actually.
17, okay. But this is Felicia Stoler. And don't worry, I'm gonna let you know how to find her when I'm done, because I think you guys are really going to like this. I think anyone selling anything or in relationship sales is going to love this. Anyone working long hours like all of us do, eating at weird times, eating a full course dinner at 10:30 at night because we've been working all day, which is very normal in our industry, thinking you were going to work out and it never happened. You know, you all know exactly who I'm talking to right now. Okay. And Felicia is known as America's health and wellness expert. She's interesting. She is an expert in nutrition, but she's also an expert in exercise physiology. And even more importantly, those of you all that know me well, she's actually a foodie. And I don't mean like, oh, today I made kale chips and ate 3 of them because they were 4 calories and I put them in my counter and yada, yada, yada. No. Felicia, if you look at her last post on Instagram, put the biggest cheese plate I've ever seen that she made for herself. And did you even share that?
No, I did share it.
Okay, I'm just checking.
I had a colleague come over and I said, I'll make lunch if you do cheese and charcuterie. If you don't mind, like if you're,
you did share?
Oh yeah, I did.
A little bit. Okay.
I did, yeah.
But either way, even if she shared half, she still consumed a lot of cheese and meat. And so, we always see these people. I don't know about you, but I can tell you about me. Okay. You know, I of course have the moniker Big Joel. We know why. You know, we always have these skinny people with, 12 packs. You know, I think I had a 1-pack for one day when I was 1 year old that have 12 packs telling us what to do. And we always look at them and we're like, you know, I don't even think you like eating. I don't even think you like I don't trust you. I don't believe you because you're full of it. I could never do what you do because I don't even think you like eating. So I know I'm talking a lot right now, but this person over here, this person likes to eat. They really like to eat. So what I thought would be cool is to mix it up and give you all a show to listen to consume, to watch, about nutrition and about exercise, but from our point of view, from a salesperson's point of view, from people that are out all day breaking bread with people. We're not just making cold calls. We're in front of people all day. We need to be ordering. We're looking at menus all day long. Our lifestyle could be very sedentary. Agents that are watching this are in cars all day long. They're on the phone with people all day long. We loan officers are doing the same things. We're not naturally, yes, everyone has the cool stand-up desks now and the whole bit. Right. But let me tell you, if you're at your desk all day doing what we do, you're not making any money. You have to be out. And that doesn't mean out like running on a treadmill. You're out. You're in your car going here. Then you're standing here. Then you're sitting here. Then you're standing and you're sitting and you're standing and you're sitting. But you're not really, you know, it leans toward being chubby, you know, being overweight, and not just being overweight, not being healthy.
Right. It really lends itself to an unhealthy lifestyle because sitting has become the new smoking. And even if you work out for 1 hour a day, if you spend the rest of the time sitting, then that's bad.
So that's kind of it. And I want to write that down. I like that. Sitting is the new smoking. That's pretty awesome. No, I mean, really. Is the new smoking. So
I didn't create that.
No. No. Listen, I'm the king of swipe and adapt. I'll be like, I'm taking that. I'll give you credit for it. But it's I love it. And people don't, listen, smoking, when I see someone smoking now, And I smoked, I'm not going to lie. When I see someone smoking, I'm like, wow, how could you really be smoking right now? Because this is in the bag. This isn't a maybe. This isn't my grandpa smoked and lived to be 97. No, we now know if you smoke cigarettes, we know you're going to shorten your life. Period. End discussion, right? I mean, there's no debate on this.
Right.
The major tobacco companies would not debate this. This is not
but
being debated.
Now people have gone from regular cigarettes, now they're smoking.
Now they're popcorn lugging. Now they're popcorn lugging themselves, right? With a vape.
Right. So, and then think about the cost of healthcare. People are complaining about healthcare. The best thing you can do for yourself is actually take care of your body, right? Diet and exercise are the least expensive, least invasive, and most effective way to prevent and treat most diseases. So I look at it as I'm investing in my health. I want to live longer, more vibrantly, with less disease, with less illness, and decreasing my risk or need to take medication. I want to put that off as long as possible.
So I could talk about a million different things. Sleep.
Oh, yeah. Well,
fasting.
Right.
Choices, food choices. And then the big one, exercise. There's so much,
We call it physical activity.
Physical activity.
That's the P.
That's the P.
That's the PC way to say it.
There's so much. Look at the food pyramid. It's the funniest thing ever. The food
no more
pyramid.
We got a plate now. We've gone from the pyramid to the plate.
Completely flipped upside down. It's like the exact opposite of what they said. Don't ever eat this. No. Eat this all the time. I'd also love to ask you just to talk a little bit, too, about the whole big keto thing, the whole keto. You don't have to do it right now.
Yeah.
I just made a big list. But we could be in here for hours and hours, and people will be really interested. But talk to me about just getting off the dime, getting going, just starting to do anything. Because I think people, especially that salespeople, are all or nothing people. They're crazed people. They're all in or they're all out. And I think when you go all in is when you fail. You're because you can't hang for that long doing that.
Right.
You got to regulate. I mean, it has to be real.
Well, when people come into my office, we talk about a whole array of things, right? Or whether at my office or we're doing virtual sessions.
Tell me why. How do they get to you? Why are they coming to you?
People are coming to me. They want to lose weight. They have high cholesterol. They're on the verge of having diabetes. Sometimes maybe they have some disordered eating or physical activity. Some other diseases that they've been diagnosed with, celiac disease or other metabolic disorders, or people with thyroid issues, which, genuine ones, not the ones like I think I have a thyroid problem. That's why I haven't lost weight.
Right.
Heart disease, cancer. Like there's people come in for everything. Being in private practice is like being a primary care doctor, when it comes to nutrition.
You have more degrees, but I'm just putting it out there. Go ahead, keep going.
But I just spent the entire decade of my 30s in graduate school. Yeah. So anyway, how
do you start? I'm 30 pounds overweight, or I think I'm 30 pounds overweight. I walk up the stairs. When I get to the top, I will lie to everyone, but I'm out of breath.
Right.
Okay, at the top of the stairs. Where do you just get going? Maybe you're working 55 hours a week.
Right.
You have little kids. Waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, by the way, doesn't work, because then you're asleep at 9.
Right.
It doesn't work for you.
Doesn't.
Where do you just get going?
Well, I think it's really important to take a little assessment of yourself and your lifestyle. And so, I just got board certified in lifestyle medicine last year, which is like a whole other movement where it's integrating the physical activity, the food, the stress management, the sleep, smoking cessation, alcohol moderation, hopefully not using drugs.
Right.
So really putting it all together and looking at your whole lifestyle. So it's doing a little self-assessment and looking at what are some things you need to change. Because most people know what they need to change. I know in the diet space and sometimes in the exercise space it gets confusing because there's so much information out there and people don't know when they go to the web what's legit, what's not. But I always say do small changes first. So what I was starting to say is people come in and they're like, want to change everything. And when they walk out, I'm like, let's work on 3 things. I help to, readjust some people's goals. So you said lose 30 pounds. Let's look at 10% of that. Let's look at 3 pounds. Let's start small and then keep going. Because, sometimes somebody might look at 30 pounds and go, wow, that's a lot of weight. I can't ever see myself losing.
And then you do nothing.
And you do nothing. And you give up and you get frustrated. Same thing with physical activity. How many people join the gym for January? Gym membership is up in January. By March, it's empty again.
Right.
People are like, I'm going to work out every day. Hey, just start with 1 day a week. If you've never done it, start with 1 day. Can you do it? Do you feel good doing that? Great. Add another day. Can you add that to your schedule? Can you get it done? And then that's how it builds. Same thing with like drinking water, right? Oh, I know I should drink water. I really don't like it. Start with 1 glass a day. Just start with one. Everything is just start with a little bit. Manage your goals. Eat one more vegetable. Try one more new food. Cut back on something else that you're doing. Eat, like when people do smoking and when they try to stop smoking, some people go cold turkey. They have a hard time with it. So, what do? They cut back and they cut back and they cut back. Same thing. Like I have some clients that they're like addicted to diet soda, and I hate all non-nutritive sweeteners. So, I'm always like, well, just cut back. Like, let's bring you down, one at a time instead of asking you to go cold turkey. So that otherwise you're going to rebound. I mean, that's just what people do. So it's start small and then just keep building, because then you're like, hey, you know what? I did that. That was so easy to do. And, the physical activity, that's challenging when you spend a lot of time in a car and sitting.
So I'll tell you, you can tell me if I gave bad advice on this or not. Okay. So one of my one-on-one clients, who's in the loan business, a very busy loan officer, woman, I won't say her name so I can say how old she is. I think she's 56. And she's been trying to lose weight, and she got about 50 pounds off. And per her, she's about another 80 to go. And we were talking, maybe another 50, maybe. And we were talking. I said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Well, this hurts and that hurts." I'm like, "No, stop. You have to start moving your body. I understand you took some weight off. You need to start moving your body." And she was like, "Well, I can." So I was thinking to myself, all right, what about stretching? Have you ever stretched before? I'm like,
how
could
about
I
getting in a
stretch?
pool? How about getting in a pool and
I was
walking?
like, could you stretch for 5 minutes, like 4 days a week? It's kind of like, it's like what you were saying,
Yeah.
but. And she started doing it. And she's like, "Ooh, I can do this." I'm like, "Make it 10."
Right.
Because I figured it's anything.
Right.
But instead of me being like Mr. Hardcore, my normal, you need to join Orange Theory, which those of you that know me, I'm like, Mr. Orange Theory. You need to join Orange Theory, and you need to go 5 days a week at 5 a.m. and bring the heat. You need to crawl out of there. How many people are doing that? They're just not going to do it. But I mean, was that good advice to just get going?
Just do something.
Do anything. Right?
Anything that doesn't cause you pain. And know that sometimes because you haven't used your muscles, you're going to feel a little bit of pain. Even when I do yard work, I'm using different muscles. I love doing my fall cleanup, like, I'm pruning leaves and I got the big leaf blower, and like I could spend hours doing it, and then and I work out all the time, and then the next day I'm like, oh my God, I can't
different
move.
muscles.
Yeah, different muscles, different.
So
movement.
if you spend a lot of time at a desk or in a car, quick things for people watching this, what can they do besides standing up? Obviously, what can you do? Can you move your? How do you?
Well, I mean, really, like standing at a desk is so much better than sitting at a desk.
How about if you have to sit in the car? You're in traffic. You're going from appointment to appointment.
Oh,
so
that's
anything you could do in the car, you
could do abdominal contractions while you're in the car. Like at a red light, you can squeeze your abdominal muscles.
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing that?
No.
Yeah, just like I'm contracting mine right now. Like you can just contract your muscles. It's almost like doing a crunch. I'm still able to talk right now, right? And I'm still holding the contraction. So see if you can hold a contraction while you're at a stoplight. I mean, that's not like big muscle groups, but the truth is a lot of people have low back pain as a result of sitting all day long. So if you can work on strengthening your abdominal muscles, then it helps with your back.
And you could do that sitting in your car.
Right. It's hard. I mean, like depending on where you sit and how you sit in your car, I mean, you could do leg. You could also do like little leg lifts and contractions, where you like straighten your leg up in front of you and you can squeeze your muscle. I'm doing this with my arm just
That's
to show
okay.
you.
They can see you. This is, no, it's good.
Yeah. But like I'd be squeezing my leg. Like I used to do this in grad school under a table. I really can't sit for a long time. It makes me crazy. Think about, I'm a healthcare professional. We go to conferences. What are we doing? We're sitting on our rear ends all day long. So some conferences I go to, and I encourage anybody that's organizing some, have standing tables, have those, high top tables in the back so people can stand in the room instead of sitting. I mean, it's awful. It's awful.
Sitting is the new smoking.
It is. And look, I just ran for Congress. I spent a lot of time in the car driving all over a very large district in New Jersey, and I spent way more time in the car than I do than I have in the last 5 years. Like crazy. So, I mean, I just could never wait to get out of the car and just stand up.
What about eating? we're coming up on New Year's. Everyone's going to have the resolution, lose weight or do this, or how do you even start thinking about that? I mean, first of all, should you be thinking about losing weight, or what? How do you start by thinking about that? Do you think about losing weight, or should you be thinking, I want to be healthier?
Think about a healthy lifestyle. Like, I want to be healthy. Like, you and I both agree, we both love food, and we love very decadent food, and I like things that taste good. But that's like maybe 5 or 10% of my food eating is that, and then the other, let's say 90 to 95% of the time, I'm eating real healthy. And the reason why I'm doing that is I want to do that to offset what I'm eating. I mean, truly, and I think about food like, Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine. I mean, it really is medicine. Plants, we should be eating more plant-based food. I mean, that's the one thing I was going to say to you. You're like, where do you get started? I look at food journals. Some people don't eat a stinking vegetable. They don't have a piece of fruit.
So what's the easiest way for somebody sort of on the go to start incorporating that in their lifestyle? Well, first of all, I want to make sure that, she said this pretty fast, and this is a podcast, so you can rewind it, but she said she's eating healthy 90% of the time so she can eat what she wants the other 10%. Is that,
That is true.
Can I say it like that?
You can say that. Yeah.
Okay, because that's sort of like how I roll. Yeah. Now I'm doing something different with fasting. Now we'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's huge. So you're not denying yourself anything, correct?
No, correct.
There's not
everything.
one food that you're denying, unless you don't like it, that you are denying yourself, right?
No. I mean, I did walk here and walk past a Popeyes, and it smelled so
Thought
good.
about it. Yeah, exactly. You thought about it. But you are eating, you are eating, I'll use the word healthy. How about right? Eating controlled. Maybe controlled's a good word. So you can have what you want in the other window.
Correct.
Right. And
I mean, I don't want to say like I'm pretty regimented. I travel a lot for work, so I totally get the whole being on the road thing. And I worked a lot with people that also travel, or that they feel that they have a hard time when they're out at an office all day. Right? They're not always at home eating or being able to bring food with them. But,
I'm the opposite, actually.
Yeah.
I eat way more at home. If I'm on the road, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a problem on the road. Yeah, it's controlled.
I mean, sometimes it sounds a little trite when, like, oh, eat something really light for breakfast if you're going to eat breakfast. Like a yogurt, like just really something simple. I sometimes just eat an avocado for breakfast, like the little mini ones, because that just, it just hits the spot. I encourage people to eat a salad every day if they want.
How about you're on the go? What could you have? What could you make sure you take with you? What's easy? I mean, is it an apple? I mean,
but
what
I'm going
is
to
it?
say, I took the train here. I had a thing of raspberries in my car. On the train. In my handbag, I brought a little Ziploc with steamed string beans. I was eating that while I was walking down the street. And I have a bag with cashews in my bag, and that's what I'm sort of like, I don't know what time.
That's in my briefcase right now,
yeah,
too.
I wasn't sure what time we were going to, getting everything done. But I don't like to walk around hungry, and then what was I going to buy at the train or buy at Union Station? I mean, there's some good choices there. But, I just wanted to make sure I had something to eat that was healthy. I keep like Kind bars or some other bars in my bag.
Are you doing that the night before or in the morning, or what do you recommend for someone? Because what you're really saying is be prepared. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Be prepared to be hungry, because when we're hungry, we make bad choices if there's nothing in front of us.
In my car, I keep a feed bag. It's like a horse has its feed bag. Okay. I keep a bag. It's one of those insulated bags, but there's nothing insulated in it. I keep all kinds of protein foods that are shelf stable. So I keep a handful of different types of nuts, nut butters, jerky, like a turkey jerky or beef jerky. I try to get like a lower sodium one. I have dried beans, dried peas. Like I can buy dried legumes. I keep that because I like salt. I personally like salty snacks, but then I'll have something a little sweet in there too. So if you have healthy snacks in your car, then you don't have to go to the drive-thru and get, the McDonald's. Right?
Even though
let's
it's good,
face it, it does taste good. And let's face it, it's really hard to eat a salad while you're driving.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say, like,
can't.
it is.
Well, and those of you that are listening to this that have worked with me before or heard, I call it a CAC, a kick-ass kit. And Felicia, what I do is I have the salespeople, and we get milk crates. They're like $1 at Walmart, and we have a milk crate, and we keep it in our front seat. And we keep certain things in there. There's handwritten notes, there's pens, there's stamps, there's things that we can be super effective mobile. Like if we're meeting with someone, there's a thing I call it a dossier book. I don't need to explain that now, but what's interesting about what you're saying, which is really cool, is that this is very easy to incorporate into, if you guys have worked with me before, someone that has, it's very easy to incorporate into your normal sales activity, having something like that with your other stuff, whether it's just a big Ziploc bag filled with stuff
or in a drawer at work. I mean,
whatever the kid is.
Before I was a dietitian, when I used to work at ABC News, everybody knew I always had snacks in my drawer.
Well, but you
and I had healthy snacks then too. I wasn't even a dietitian yet.
It's the example of of being prepared, and that's an easy. So what are the best if you were trying to get someone to start eating something healthy? We'll even go plant-based if you're going to go plant-based for a minute.
I really advocate plant-based
but what is it? Because that's not going to be jerky. What could they have on them that's easy? Obviously, you cannot eat a salad when you're driving. You're correct.
Right. It's very hard to do.
What could they buy and have in their car that's plant-based? That's easy.
Well, I buy bags of dried beans. Like people have like the wasabi peas. There's other brand, not just those because there's a lot of stuff on it, but there are other. I've seen now like dried lentils. I have one that's like a lima bean and
they
pea
taste
mix.
good.
Yeah, they're they have flavored ones. I don't like any. So wait, since everybody's in sales, stay away from anything that is ranch or onion because you have bad breath.
Right.
I go to a lot of food shows around the country, and I'm always like, I wish you just had that with plain sea salt because all the other stuff, chive, garlic, I don't want to eat that. I don't want to have bad breath when I'm talking to somebody. So you got to be aware of that. So there are, when you go to most supermarkets or Whole Foods or a lot of grocery store chains have, this health food aisle. They have a lot of those snacks. Amazon sells a lot of that stuff online. I'm going to be starting a blog soon, and I probably should put some of my favorite things like that. There are some in my book. I have some shelf stable because a lot of people have asked me how to travel internationally with food or how to travel with food that's shelf stable. So there's stuff like that. Again, I'm a savory snacker. You can buy dried produce, like they have dried corn, dried peas. You can get dried fruit, like the dehydrated fruit. You can keep that in your car. They sell those at the crunchy ones. I like the crunchy ones.
Is it more important for you to get people, do you want people eating, if they're not eating any, call it, or very light on vegetables, do you want them to go vegetable before incorporating fruit, or is it just as important?
Well, you can get twice as many veggies in for the same portion. I mean, vegetables have no calories. You could take a big clamshell of arugula. It's 35 calories for the whole thing. It would take you a long time to chew that. That's why I'm a big fan of chewing your food versus just drinking it as a juice. Like a lot of people like to do these juice cleanses or, buy all these fancy juices. Buy a container. I literally bought, there's Lidl. I don't know if they have that out here, but they just opened in New Jersey 2 weeks ago. And there's this big clamshell, this big, of 8 chopped vegetables, raw vegetables. It's 35 calories a serving. I ate half of that.
Yeah, but is it good?
I put dressing on it.
What'd you put on it?
I put, I buy a tahini goddess dressing. I put an avocado in there and 2 hard-boiled eggs.
Avocado is key.
I
that
try
makes
to eat
everything
one every
better.
day. Right.
Yeah.
I try to eat one every day, and I just mixed it all up, and it was amazing, and it was crunchy, and it was filling. Vegetable soups in the wintertime, a lot of soups. I make a lot of soups and freeze them. This way I know what's in them. I add beans to them. Eating more beans as a plant-based source of protein.
Talk about portion size, because in the States or whatever, everything is big.
Right.
And if you're going to eat something non-plant-based, not meat,
we don't all need a 16-ounce steak or a 24-ounce steak.
So
right?
Would you ask someone to cut it in half in the kitchen and bag half? I mean, what's your move there?
I would normally either I share with somebody.
Well, say you're with a client, and you and the client are across from each other, and it's a new client or it's one of your good clients, and you don't want to look weird. You don't want to do anything crazy, but you're eating. You're not going to get a stalk of celery for lunch.
No, not at all.
You want to have the steak.
Yeah.
What are you ordering? What's your play there?
Well, what I would do is one of two things. I like to say to people, "Hey, do you want to share? This way, I don't want to eat a whole entree, but then we can get some extra appetizers, right? So that's a good way to sort of segue into that. Or sometimes what I do is just order a whole lot of appetizers, because depending on where you go, you can still sometimes get the meat. If you're at a steak restaurant. I can't think of the one. There's one in New York that I go to a lot that they have an appetizer portion of like steak tips and mashed potatoes. So
It's like a whole,
it's enough, Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna get that flavor if I'm not, sharing with somebody. Or else I'll cut the food in half. I will cut it in half
and move it.
I just move it. I just work off a half the plate, and I can eyeball a portion, and then I just stop eating, and then I'll ask them to take it away.
Is this right or is that wrong? Is it the size
I
of your
think
hand?
it's okay. It's about the size of your hand. It's really the palm of your hand. So it's really if you cut your fingers off. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for me, that is the portion that I should have.
Yeah.
The correct portion.
If you're going to have like an animal source protein, fish, chicken,
right there.
pork,
Boom.
yeah, beef,
maybe like
lamb.
that.
Mm-hmm. A little thinner.
Like that?
Yeah. Like literally like the thickness of your hand.
What about the whole drinking water, before you eat? Because I've heard that both ways. No, don't pound a bunch of water before you eat because it actually affects how you're digesting incorrectly. Or yes, pound water before you eat. You'll feel more full.
So if you're going to drink water before, I say drink it at least a half hour to an hour before, not while you're having that meal. Because what happens is, yes, when you drink water while you're eating, it does stretch out your stomach. But I do find that some people, it takes a lot longer for them to digest their food that way. And that's not really bringing on that feeling of satiety. So if you think about like a restaurant where, you might order an appetizer. If you think about like ordering a soup or a salad or something to get you started, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for your stomach to really realize like, hey, I might be getting full. So by the time your entree comes, like if you're just having an entree, you're going to have to really look at what you're ordering and just stop. But like when you're at home, maybe you're not going to take the leisurely time that you would in a restaurant to sort of have that slow meal. Think about how the Europeans do it, right? They have that slow meal.
So wait. So you're telling me, so it takes 20 minutes minimum for my brain to tell my stomach, by the way, dude, you don't need any more food. You're full. So in that 20-minute window, I've already pounded 3,000 calories that I didn't even really wasn't even hungry for. It might have tasted good, but I wasn't even hungry for. And then I'm bloated and I feel like I want to kill someone. And it's purely because physiologically, there's no way my brain can tell me any faster.
It's the signaling mechanism, right? But so the other thing I was going to tell you is that, a lot of times people feel so bloated after a meal. And if you think about your stomach like a balloon, like if you filled it with all this water and food, like think about a water balloon, right? The way it expands. So if you think about how much you put in there, of course, then you're going to feel really bloated and disgusting if you overeat and you overdrink beverages. But you shouldn't feel that way. Like you should enjoy a meal. No, like, okay, like if you learn over time what an appropriate portion is, you'll stop and then enjoy it, and just let it be instead of eating till you're ready to throw up, like I I feel it right here.
Let's talk about let's talk a little bit about. I definitely want to hit. We could be here for like a long time. We'll have to do this again too. But let's talk about a little bit about fasting because, and I'll tell you like my story just a little bit so you hear it. So I've when I first started into sales, when I came back from New Orleans, I went to Tulane. This person went to Tulane as well, and I stayed there.
Where we got our foodie on.
I stayed there. Yeah, I stayed there, and I owned restaurants there. Garage Pizza.
Garage Pizza.
You answered the phone there.
I was the phone girl.
That's right. And I came back from New Orleans and I got into the mortgage business, and I was very successful. I made a lot of money, but I also gained like about 70 pounds, and I turned around and I was like 270 in 2 seconds. And it was because I was, number one, working about 90 hours a week. I was probably sleeping 4 hours a night. I was doing a lot of socializing, which is what you have to do in that business.
And you're lucky you didn't get sick.
Well, guess what happened? I mean, then I went to get life insurance for my second little dude who's 21 now. And they told me, they said, you have fatty liver, which I'm like, oh God, if I tell anyone I have fatty liver, they're going to haze me for the rest of my life. And so the doctor said to me, I went into the doctor, I had a liver biopsy. By the way, those of you that have ever had that, you don't want that. The needle's like this long and they thread it through your eye. There's nothing good about it.
Yeah.
And so they come back and they say, oh, you have fatty liver. I'm like, okay, cool. What do I do about that? And they said, well, you have to take these pills. I'm like, cool. For how long? And they're like, forever. I'm like, wait, stop. What do you mean forever? And they said, you have to take these pills forever. Because you and I was like, okay, all right. Let me just make sure you know who you're dealing with right now. Okay, what is the a solution for not taking the pills forever. And they go, well, I mean, if you lost like 70 pounds, it would be a different story. So 4 months later, the guy came in and I weighed 183.
Yeah.
I went from 262 to 183 in like 4 months. Now, that's not healthy weight loss at all. And the way I did it was a modified Atkins type of diet, meaning I basically did, no sugars, no carbs, but I did not do any red meat. I stayed with chicken and fish. So I really brought it hard.
Right.
I was able to drop the weight. Also, I shocked my system because I'd never done that before, which, by the way, that was bad because I've been fighting that ever since as I've had weight creep on. And I've been, it messed with me mentally because some of my favorite foods were not on that list. You know what I mean? Like I'm the guy eating the pizza, peeling the cheese off there. That's no fun, during that. And so, over time I bounced around a little bit and I'm pretty active. I mean, I work out, I do stuff. I'm fairly healthy. I mean, I take pills I shouldn't be taking. I don't mean drugs, but pills for health that I shouldn't be taking. Blood pressure stuff and whatever. And recently, a friend of mine who's like a big, keto guy, we'll talk about that in a second, like an insane keto guy. He said, you should try keto a little bit. And I tried it a little bit. I'm like, what, this really isn't hard for me because like you, I eat avocado every day. I just cut it up, put a little olive oil, sea salt, bam, cut it up, slam it. I mean, I love avocados. For me to get that fat, not hard for me at all. And then I'm like, this is not sustainable. Like to me, I'm like, this is insane. I'm traveling all over. This is not sustainable. I'm not having a cheeseburger without the bun for the rest of my life. This is BS, right? I'm not doing this. So one of the things he said is, hey, listen, the keto diet really works better if you have intermittent fasting. I said, what's that? He said, just start off. He's like, basically just skip breakfast. He's like, just see if you cannot eat for 16 hours a day and eat in an 8-hour window. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. And I go, what about the 8-hour window? And he goes, well, if you want to try to eat clean in the 8-hour window, I'm pretty sure that you will probably start dropping weight right away, especially with the way you exercise. He goes, but if not, just eat whatever you want. And I bet you will. So I did it. And I was like, ooh, number one, I feel totally debloated. Number two, I'm just going to put it out there. My number 2 factor got way better, way quicker.
I talk about poop all the time, so we're all good.
the whole duty thing got way better. And I was not denying myself anything because as soon as I was in the window, I was like, well, if I'm in the window, I can have a piece of pizza. It doesn't really matter if I'm in the window. So then I flipped it to 18.6. And then what I started doing is I'm like, okay, you know what? If I'm not hungry at 8, I'm just going to keep going. So if I'm at 20, I'm at 20. And what I mean by that is not eating for 20 hours, drinking water. By the way, I drink a ton of green tea. I have iced green tea behind me right now. I don't use sweeteners, whatever. I don't really use any aspartame products at all. I'm not a big sugar guy. And coffee, but I don't drink coffee all day, just in the morning. And boom, it started coming off. And in the window, no guilt. So the mental... The piece of having that, I was telling Felicia earlier, like my favorite food ever in life is like an everything bagel with like, do you guys know what lock is? That's LOC, lots of cream cheese, lock. I also like lots of mayo. With cream cheese this thick on it, with cream cheese this thick on it, tons of salmon, tomato, onion. I love that. Yeah. That's like a 2,000 calorie sandwich or whatever, when you're done. And guess what? I eat that right in my window. No problem. The other thing, really funky, and I'm going to shut up in a second because I want you to tell me the science because I'm no science guy. You're a science girl. The working out, I thought that I would be like fatigued because I'm an Orange Theory guy, which means I'm rowing a lot. I'm running. We're doing HIIT workouts all day long. I was like, man, I feel like more energized. This is really weird. And then I started reading a little bit and understanding I was basically throwing myself into a type of ketosis, which was spiking it. But so for me, I know it's a sexy thing now, the whole fasting and intermittent fasting, but it's actually working for me. And I'd love to get your feedback. And I also think that this is something that busy people can do. This is not a not doable thing because you don't need a bunch of stuff. You just shut your mouth.
Well, I say just shut your pie hole, right?
Like exactly.
I've said that on national TV. Just shut your pie hole already.
But you know what, though? You know what's coming, though. You know that at 12 o'clock, you want to have 2 slices of pepperoni pizza, you can. All right, I'll shut up. Go.
All right. So the good news is literally a month ago, I was at USC at a global fasting conference.
Really?
Could you imagine? Like
Was this
assembling
the first time you've ever done that?
Well,
Okay.
it was the first time they had this conference. It was the first global conference on fasting. They had people from all over the world. There are international experts speaking. We were talking about all the different fasting modalities. So there's intermittent fasting. And so what you were describing is more like time-restricted eating. But some intermittent fasting is just giving up eating for a day. If you think about it, 5 major religions of the world use fasting as part of their religious observance. Humans have evolved from other humans that survive feast or famine. So we have that protective mechanism. And the fact that we have access to food all the time is just not healthy in terms of we should not be eating all the time. I mean, there are people that you were talking about getting 4 hours of sleep. You might have been eating during 20 hours of the day. That's just not good to do. Right. So so there are some people that do like 1 or 2 days of fasting. So there's a server at a restaurant I went to. He told me he fasts fully 1 day a week. He does Mondays.
24 hours.
24 hours. He lost 60 pounds in a year. And it's doable for him. He just does it 1 day a week, and that works for him, right? Intermittent fasting, huge fan of the like time-restricted eating, time-restricted feeding. For somebody who's starting out, I would tell them do it over 10 hours or start with 12 hours, right?
Make it easy.
Make it easy. Start with 12 hours. You know, for me, it's easy to start eating later because my circadian rhythm and my appetite is such. I'm not hungry till 11 or 12 o'clock
Now,
if I wake up.
is that a human thing or is that a you thing?
No, I think I speak to a lot of people that it's a human thing. My kids, I used to fight with my children about eating breakfast. They're like, I'm not hungry. And I know they're not hungry, but I know that they're also not going to eat lunch till later in the day. We all joke about that, right? Or some kids eat real early and then they're going all day. I think for kids, it's different. I want to just clarify that here because, you know, your brain requires a lot of carbohydrates and energy for fuel. So we're not talking about kids, we're talking about adults, right? But so something else that's really intriguing is this prolonged fasting. So it was developed by Dr. Walter Longo. Time magazine just said he's one of the top 50 most influential people in health. He was looking at water fasting for 5 days with subjects as a means of longevity and promoting longer life. So, you know, in animal studies, animals don't get to drop out because they just don't like doing it, right? So the human studies, they're like 5 days, water only, no way, I'm out of here. So he figured out a way to create what they call a fasting mimicking diet where you are doing this, you know, this calorie restricted diet for 5 days. The first day is about 1,100 calories, and then the remainder of the days are about 800 calories, all plant-based foods. And, you know, it's totally macronutrients, so carbohydrate, protein, and fat controlled. They make sure that you have adequate micronutrients, vitamins, minerals that you need, and essential fatty acids and fiber. So your number 2 is in good shape. And you do that for 5 days, once a month for 3 consecutive months. And then from there, depending on what your goals are, you know, it's not supposed to be just for weight loss, but for people that want to kickstart a weight loss program, it's great because you can lose anywhere from 5 to 8 pounds. I lost 6 pounds the first time I did it. I lost 4 pounds the second time I did it. So, you know, the reasons to do it are for regeneration of stem cells. So the way it works is in days 4 and 5, this process that we call autophagy, which is basically cellular turnover. So when you think about people doing a cleanse, it's sort of like your body doing its own little cleanse on itself. It's taking underperforming cells and basically knocking them out and saying, you're out of here. I'm going to create some new stem cells.
Is a juice cleanse a bunch of BS? I mean, what is that?
Well, a juice cleanse is totally different.
Okay.
So this is so the company that was started is called Prolon, Prolon FMD. So people can look that up, prolonfmd.com. But I'm going to be, this is why I'm so excited. I'm going to be integrating this into my practice. I mean, I want my clients to be doing this for the 3 months to sort of kickstart and reset their body clocks a little bit. And, you know, it allows them to work out. It allows them to have more energy. It allows them to eat. So the stomach sees food, but the cells are seeing fasting, basically, what's going on. And so then what I want people to do in those cycles, the weeks in between, is I want them to do the time-restricted eating, you know, either during 8 or 10 hours a day, predominantly plant-based, smaller amounts of animal source protein, and integrate exercise. And, like, that's going to be my new thing. Like, I know it's not one size fits all, but for most of the people that I work with, it's going to be the one size that fits most.
I can tell you, I mean, for me,
yeah,
you know, and I'm doing it to eat, like people, like my hashtag, by the way, is eat to row, row to eat. Like that's my hashtag. Look that up on social media. You'll see my name. Eat to row, row to eat.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows. And,
Yeah.
and they in Orange Theory, they're like, yo, yeah. He just rode 5,000 meters because he's eating a burger. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to stay level.
I always say I work out a lot so I can eat whatever I want.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
so
we'll work out for food.
So just a couple of takeaways because of time. Okay, so busy salespeople. Number one, stand if you can. Do not sit. You want to stand
Try having a walking
everywhere.
meeting if you can.
But I mean stand, like you can invest. I mean, I know right now you can buy for like $28 on Amazon 50 different things you can put on your desk that just go like this.
There's actually one that's under $50 that's aluminum that collapses. I saw it I saw that at a shared workspace when I was here like over a year ago. And I was like, oh my God, I took a picture of it. I'm like, I got to go find it.
All right,
it was
so
like,
stand and not sit.
Right.
Be prepared. I want to wrap before they call me. Be prepared with snacking. Know that you are going to be hungry.
Yeah.
And make sure that you have the right options with you. And there's plenty of options that don't have to be refrigerated. When you tell people, eat a salad.
You could get a tuna packet. Yeah, I mean, seriously, like you just tear open a tuna packet and stick a fork in it.
I mean, when you tell people eat a salad, and they're listening, they're checking out on that. They're like, yeah, right. I'm not eating a salad at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, meaning like, it's impossible for me to do it, but I might be in my car. What about bars? Just real quick before you get up, bars.
I like bars.
What do you not want in the bar? When you turn it over, what do you want to stay away from?
Too many calories. I mean,
okay, so start off straight calories.
I'm a big fan of like Kind bars. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I just like that they're fruits and nuts, and you can look at them and you can see the foods. And
so don't worry about what's in it. Look at the calories.
Look at the calories.
What do you want the bar to be below in calories? If it's
less than 300 calories.
Okay, so if you're
it's not a meal replacement.
So if you're eating bars, you need to turn those things over and look at them. If you think, ooh, why am I not losing weight? And you're pounding bars that literally you could have had a Snickers instead.
Or people that think they need to drink an extra protein shake because they work out. That's another big fallacy, extra calories that you don't need.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So 300 is the magic number for bars for you from an expert.
Yes.
Below 300, have the bar.
Yep.
And that is a snack.
Correct.
It's not a meal replacement.
Correct.
Meal replacement's a totally different thing.
Right.
That's a snack. Okay. And that's easy to have.
I'll give you an example, too. Campbell's Soups makes these little, like, grab-and-go soups that you could, like, stick the whole thing in the microwave. You could actually, because they're all vegetable, you don't even have to cook them. You could literally pop them open and just eat them cold, like a cold soup, like a gazpacho. Like, you could eat a tomato soup cold.
Okay.
And they have stuff like that. You can keep that in your car. And, again, you could drink it because it has, like, a sipping cup on it. You could literally, like, drink that while you're driving.
So, best exercise before we start to wrap for people doing zero exercise at all and maybe complain this hurts and that hurts and then they're doing nothing. They're not moving their body. How did they start? I mean, was it as simple as getting up and going for a walk? Is there more to it?
Go for a walk 5 minutes every hour that you're at work. That's what I did in my graduate research. You know, I did a worksite wellness program. And if you took a 5-minute walk every hour, if you're at work for 8 hours a day, that's 40 minutes of physical activity that you would accumulate. Think about it like that.
Wait a second. I've never heard anyone say it like that before. Okay, so every hour that you could say working or whatever.
Yeah.
Move for just 5 minutes.
Like other people used to go take a cigarette break, right? So why can't you go take a healthy break?
So move for 5 minutes. So everyone, that's a cool takeaway at the end. I mean, it's not some big sexy trick, but it's totally implementable in 2 seconds.
You're gonna get out of your seat. Right? I mean, hello, we didn't even talk about the 7-minute workout. There's an app, the 7-minute workout that you can do.
I have it on my phone.
Okay, so you could do that too.
I do it in
hotels.
I do it in hotels. We didn't even have time to get into that because
airports.
We'll have to but we'll have to do this again because that's the I didn't bring my shoes. I'm like, you don't need your shoes.
Right.
You don't even need, your body, you have body weight, you're good.
Right.
Do this, do that.
I got high heels on. I walked, a few miles to get here from the train station, and I could do a whole bunch of exercises in these shoes.
That's right. No, but
no excuses.
No, it's great. So everyone, we're going to run out of time. They're waving at me in the booth. So it's FeliciaStoler.com. Okay, that's FeliciaStoler.com. You could just go and Google, put quotes, put Felicia Stoler. She's on TV all the time, telling people what to eat or having fun with people on TV stations all over the place. But you can find her. There's more information on her site, or if you want to contact her, if you have questions. We didn't even get really get into a lot of things. I just thought it would be cool today to talk about something a little different. I know it applies to all of us because we all want to be in our best physical shape. I mean, I really believe that 52 is like the new 32. I really believe that, you know, and there's no reason with all the technology and everything we know, there's no reason that we'll call it our parents 80 years old needs to look like someone that's 80. It's just,
I can just tell you, I think about the way my mom looked at my age, and I think I look like 15 years younger than she did.
Yeah.
The same age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where everyone should be. And you know what we do, it's very sedentary. It's not a move around thing. I mean, you're on the phone and you are sitting in your car going between appointments. If you're in a major metro area, like where you live, where I live, you could be sitting in your car for 45 minutes. I mean, you couldn't even get out if you wanted. You couldn't even get your 5 minutes in. There's no way. You're getting out on a bridge. I mean, you can't get out.
Right.
You know, these are easy, simple things, you know, to get started. And I think we don't have enough time to get deep into everything, but I would love to have you come back on and go through the eat this, not that thing, because that would be really cool, because I could give you the thises that I know what my people are eating. I know what's in front of them and what to sort of choose. But with that said, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna say thank you so much for being on the Big Joel Show. Hopefully Big Joel won't be as big next time you see him. But I really appreciate it. And again, if you love the show, please go on Facebook and share it. Wherever you consume your podcasts, you know, whether it's YouTube or whether it's iTunes, whatever it is, please go there and like the show. And I look forward to your feedback. And please, they can reach out to you. No problem, right?
No problem.
Call, text, email.
Yeah. They can buy, you know, gift certificates for counseling sessions. They can get information for Prolon on my website as well. And give people the gift of health in the new year, and give yourself the gift of health in the new year.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. That's a wrap.